Greetings to you. Welcome to this moment of worship and reflection, courtesy of All Saints Anglican Church. Shall we join together as we open our time of worship in prayer? Would you respond in the words that are in yellow? The sun rises and it is light. The night falls and it is dark. Bless the one who gives the life. Sow the seed and cut the corn. Bear the child and build the house. Bless the one who gives the life. Lay the stone and light the fire. Cast the net and water the earth. And bless the one who gives the life. Serve the guest and pay the price. Nail the wood and pick the flowers. Bless the one who gives the life. Make the wine and bake the bread. Pour the wine and break the bread. Bless the one who gives the life. We light this candle, remembering Jesus Christ, the light of the world, who is with us. Shall we enjoy the light together?
Love to sing your praises, Lord. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I love to sing your praises. I'm so glad you're in my life. I'm so glad you came to save. From heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave, from the grave to the sky. Lord, I lift your name on high. You came from heaven to earth to show the way, from the earth to the cross, my debt to pay, from the cross to the grave. Grave to the sky, Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name on high. Lord, I lift your name. Lord, I lift your name on high. Let's do that. Let's lift up his name. Lord, I lift your name. I love to sing your praise.
This is a parable. It's not one of Jesus' parables. Those are kept in golden boxes. This is just a plain brown box. It is in fact a rabbinical parable about parables. Shall we take a look and see what's inside? I wonder what this could be. It's just brown, isn't it? Not really a regular shape or anything. I wonder what could be so brown. There's no green, there's no blue, it's just brown. I wonder if there's anything else in here that can help us tell the story. Well, okay, there's that. There's also this. I wonder what that is. And then there's these. There's quite a few of them, sort of golden rope or something. That's the lot. There once was a great desert, and in the middle of the desert was a deep, deep well. It was so deep that you couldn't even see the water in the bottom of the well. People had even forgotten that there was water there. Sometimes if a person leaned over the opening of the well, they might feel a cool breeze on their face. But no one knew how to get the cool liquid from the bottom of the well. Now, people can't live in the desert without water. It's a dangerous place. It's hot and dry. The shape is always changing with the wind. It's easy to get lost. There's no green thing to provide shade or food for a person. Any person who has to travel through the desert tends to hurry through it to get away from the danger. There was once a man traveling through the desert. And when he came to the deep, deep well, he took his time. There was no hurry. He looked at the well. He looked at these strange golden threads around the well. He looked at the rusty old object that nobody knew what it was for. It sort of looked like a big cup that you could carry something in. But where would you get any water from? He looked at the well. He looked again at the golden threads, kicked at them. They seemed so out of place. Other people just thought they were silly and left them. The person went to the well, went again to the bucket, to the golden threads. And then the person did something like this. Finally, they tied the golden rope to the bucket and lowered the bucket into the deep, deep well. And when they drew it out again, the bucket was full of cool, clear, refreshing water. The person drank of the water and was changed. And when the person went on their way, they left the bucket and the strands tied together, so that the next person would be able to take a drink. Now, I wonder about this desert. Where could this desert be? Have you ever been in this desert? I wonder about this well. What could it really be? I wonder about these golden threads. What they really are. Have you come close to them before? You know, this story could actually have another ending. When the person was ready to leave, the person untied the golden threads and left them as they had found them, so that the next person who came along would be able to figure it out for themselves. I wonder which of these endings you like best. I wonder which of these endings might be the most important. I wonder what part of this parable is especially for you. So I've been watching rugby for most of my life. And in that time, I've probably seen maybe 1,000 scrum penalties. And of those 1,000 scrum penalties, I've probably understood about 10. Scrumming is considered one of the dark arts in rugby. And the real purpose when you're in a scrum is to somehow, as far as you can, abuse your power without getting caught, so that you get it over your opposition, so that you can enforce yourself on your opposition. And so you either scrum in or you scrum out, or you scrum too high or scrum too low. There's all sorts of dynamics, all sorts of things going on, all sorts of bits of abuse of power happening. And I'm convinced that most of the time, the umpires don't really know what's going on either. Sometimes you get a sense that the referee is just alternating the penalties so that it balances things out. Now, I don't know if you noticed as we were working through Mark's Gospel in the last while, that children come up quite a lot. Jesus refers to children and little ones several times in this section. And I want to put a proposal before you for your consideration today. It's my sense that in this particular section of Mark, which happens between Jesus predicting his death the second time and predicting his death the third time, that there is an overarching theme, there's an overarching focus that the author of Mark wants us to drill down into, if you like. And my reasoning for this comes from two things. Firstly, it's this reference to children, which repeats itself. Secondly, when you read the narrative, it's very, very awkward. It feels like it's patched together. And if you don't believe me, maybe pause the video now and read from when Jesus predicts his death the second time in chapter 9, verse 30, right through to just after where we've read today, where he predicts his death the third time. Perhaps as you read it, you'll get that same sense. It feels like the author has pulled pieces of Jesus' story and sort of almost forced them together to make a point. So let me take you through the narrative and you see if you agree with me or not. So if we go back a little way, Jesus is predicting his death the first time. He's then transfigured, and from there the journey is now towards Jerusalem. Shortly after being transfigured, Jesus releases a young man from demon possession. He then predicts his death a second time. And immediately after that, the disciples are caught up in an argument over who would be the greatest. It's an argument about power. Jesus is disappointed when he hears what's been going on. And he says to them, you've got it all wrong. If you want to be the greatest, you have to be the least. You have to be a servant of all. And then he places a child in their midst, and he says to them, if any one of you welcomes a child like this in my name, you not only welcome me, but the one who sent me. So powerless that we must be willing to offer hospitality to the least in society. Shortly after that, John says to him, Lord, we saw someone casting out demons in your name, and we told him to stop. Again, it's about power, about the power of the disciples to decide who gets to serve and who doesn't, their authority to decide who gets to cast out demons or heal or preach. Once again, Jesus calls them to order and says, no, leave him alone. Anyone who is not against us is for us. That's how broad it is for Jesus. It's not for you to exert power over these people. And then he goes on further to say, and, by the way, if any one of you causes one of these little ones who believe in me to sin, it would be better for you to have a millstone tied around your neck and drowned. Shortly after that, some Pharisees come to Jesus to test him. And the question is on divorce. And it's an important topic, a topic that's worth unpacking, Jesus' teaching on it. But for the moment, I want us to look at the overarching thing. Again, it seems to me anyway, that this is a conversation about power, about the power that a man had over a woman in the time of Jesus in terms of this relationship of marriage. Notably, the Pharisees forget to quote the part of the Old Testament where the man has to give a woman a certificate of divorce. That certificate would give her some standing, some security in her culture. Not a lot, but there was something in it. Such was the abuse that men could do whatever they pleased, literally dismissing a woman out of hand. Again, Jesus challenges them, calls them to order. Right after that, we are told by the author of Mark that mothers were bringing their children to be blessed by Jesus. And the disciples step in, again exercise power and abuse their power by chasing them away. He's tired, he's had enough, leave him alone. Jesus rebukes them. No, let the children come. For the kingdom of heaven belongs to these ones. And in fact, says Jesus, unless you receive the kingdom like one of these, you will never see the kingdom. It will never be yours. We live in a world where the abuse of power is an everyday thing. Constantly, in virtually every sphere of life, the dark arts which are practiced in the scrum in rugby are being practiced, whether it's in relationships, in politics, in business, even in the church. And it's very easy, I think, for us to be caught up in that and to become a part of it, to begin to subscribe to those same values. In this section of Mark's Gospel, I really hear God speaking to us and calling us to the way that is the narrow way. A way that is a way of chosen powerlessness. Not only are we to welcome the least be hospitable to the least, but we must actually become the least. Become like a child so that we might receive the kingdom. Again, I see in this an opportunity for us as Christians to model another way of being. Hear what the Spirit is saying to the church. Watch closely now as I change the light. The light that was once only in this one place at this one time, now changing, fading, thinning, as it spreads through the whole room. Wherever you go in this room, you can come close to the light. Wherever you go in all of creation, you can come close to the light. Wherever you are today, you can live close to the light. Kia tau kia tātou katoa, te atawhai o tō tātou ariki, oihu karaiti, me te aroha o te atua, me te whiwhinga taitanga ki te wairau tapu. Ake, ake, amine.